So, I know you're probably thinking why, but Sombra will always find her way back. Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Paz, with another meta review with the new patch. We got a lot to go over, and it's really nice that we get these patches so quick. It's something that we don't usually see from Blizzard. One bad patch that didn't really fix everything. Big community just backlash, and then immediately, it seems almost immediately, they got it right back and done. So who knows, maybe Overwatch 2 is coming around the corner. Maybe they have a little bit more availability to allocate some resources to the present meta, not something that's going to happen in the future. But without talking any more about that, we're going to get right into the video today, and let's see the patch notes here. So the stuff that's new is really what you would be expecting them to change if it was based on community backlash here. Echo getting nerfed, Tri-Shot, her ammo getting reduced from 15 to 12. It's not super big. Her stickies are really the big thing, and her focusing beam is going from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. Now, if it was just Echo being nerfed alone, I think that this wouldn't really do a whole lot. However, I think with some of the other characters that also got nerfed, it definitely makes other characters that were already strong, stronger, and we'll get into that. Tracer, her min-max damage fall off rescale from 13 to 23 down to 12 to 20 meters. In pugs that we were running last Friday it was, I didn't really notice any of these changes particularly being huge. But in a scrim setting, it's definitely a lot different, and that's kind of what I'm predicting today. Again, this is for the team-based meta. I didn't actually iterate that yet. And last but not least, Zenyatta. I really didn't understand his value being stupid overpowered. I think it was more the Echo. But pretty much they changed his orb projectile speeds, the Orb of Discord, Orb of Harmony, to 120 to 90. Now it is a lot slower. It's noticeably slower about how fast these projectiles go. It's definitely going to make Rapid Discord a harder achievement, an even harder achievement to get unless they tweak it a little bit. And his Orb of Discord amplification has been reduced from 30 to 25%. In pugs, didn't notice this too much when it was with my own damage. The problem is that with overall damage, this included with specifically Echo's kit, I think that this just makes Echo not as overtuned in the grand scheme of things. I think this is actually a really good patch from Blizzard because it doesn't necessarily kill Echo as a character, but it definitely tunes her down a bit so that she's not as strong, if that makes any sense. And it doesn't really kill Zenyatta either. Like, as you'll see in the video, I'm with the list that I'm making this week, I don't think I'm going to be putting Zenyatta any lower than I have before. I still think Zen Brig is extremely strong, and it's not going away. So without further ado, let's get right into the list. We're going to start out with the tanks here. So my prediction with this patch, guys, is that not a whole lot is going to change. You've seen in my last videos, and the title of this video really is Sombra Tracer has always been around. That 6-man dive style comp has always been around. It's just that Echo was just overtuned. Now that Echo and Zen are a little bit like balanced with the rest of the comp, I think that, I mean, we've seen it in Overwatch League even with those, well, off-season Overwatch League with the tournament against, I think it was Seoul Dynasty and the Dragons. I might be wrong about that. It was an Asian tournament over the weekend. You didn't see them running Echo. You saw them running Sombra Tracer. So whether that was they were preparing for the new patch or they were just saying that it was better in general already, I mean, that's up for grabs. I'm thinking that they probably were just predicting about what the next meta was going to be, and it's not really a huge Overwatch League official. It was just kind of a tournament to do, so why not just get prepared for Overwatch League that's coming up? That's what I think they were thinking, but at the same time, it's not a bad comp to run against the Echo, and it's definitely something that they probably may have had to adapt to even in this meta. So like I said, not a whole lot changes, but interesting small changes happen, so let's get right into it. Still best tank in the game in my opinion is the ball, or the best tank combo is the ball diva. Double bubble I've been seeing a lot of play recently too, but I just don't think it's as strong as 6-man, especially now that you can't really play for good echo value anymore. That being said, it's really hard to explain all these characters without all the other ones to supplement like why I'm saying that. But I think that Winston and Winston D.Va comps could also come back. Like the original 6-man dive might be good. I really doubt it because Zen Brig is still, I think, extremely strong. But I still think that Winston, like you can run Winston instead of Ball and you can get away with it. I don't see a problem with it, especially if you also have Zarya for Double Bubble. I still think Double Bubble is really strong. I just don't think it is as strong as the new Ball D.Va comps and just how fast those how fast paced those games are. You really have to, with this Double Bubble, hope that your tempo with the tanks, that you can make it slow enough that your Zarya can carry. It really depends on the team that you're on and what you really want to be running, but I personally prefer this Ball D.Va comp over a lot of other things. That being said, I do put Orisa B tier this patch, only because Fire and Ice really hasn't gotten any nerfs to it, and it's still really strong if you play to your strengths. I always am saying, oh, Fire and Ice this, Fire and Ice that in my last videos. I think it's a niche comp that's really good, and that's kind of what puts it in the B tier. It's a niche comp that's good, but it's not the standard meta, so it's always going to be pretty high up there on the charts. Especially since D.Va is really strong right now, and D.Va is part of that comp. I think that it makes Orisa a lot more viable. What else are we saying here? I think characters though, like Sigma, characters like Hog, characters like Rhine, they have their maps, right? But the thing is I just don't see why I'd want to run Brawl in King's Row even. Like, I feel like I'd rather just run Double Bubble, or I'd rather just run, like, the Ball D.Va. Something, like, it's very strong, even on King's Row. Sigma gets overwhelmed by dive extremely easily. That's what his weakness has always been. Hog is very good against the Fire and Ice comps, but it's just, dive's pace right now can be very fast, and spam doesn't kill it fast enough. And I just want to preface this with something else before I go in any deeper with the DPS here. None of this is set in stone. If you do disagree, like, please let me know. It's like a weather forecast. It's not always going to be right, but like, it's pretty backed up by what I think. But what I think doesn't necessarily mean it's fact, because I don't know if I don't think I've ever actually been spot on with the meta list, but I've been pretty close most of the time. So yeah, let's move right into the DPS here. So, I know you're probably thinking why, but Sombra will always find her way back. She will always go invis, and she'll tap on your shoulder, you'll look back there, and then she's over there, bam, she comes back every time. Always remember that. You wanna know why, though? The problem is that she gets a lot of value in 6-man, because she does a lot of damage, and you're not necessarily even playing for hacks. You're playing for, like, damage, EMP, you can play for cheeky hacks. She's just very fast, and she can get a lot of value because, like, EMP, just, it's a fight-winning ability. She does a lot of damage, and she also pairs very well with these tanks that are moving very fast. Also, hacking an Echo kills that Echo. If you can land that hack, that Echo's dead. And it's pretty easy, actually, to hack an Echo, because if you think about it, Echo is usually in the sky, you're hacking her on the ground. The projectiles are pretty slow to the point where you could consistently land that hack easily, because it's just like if you're allowed to look at the Echo while you're hacking, which I mean you have to, it's a lot easier to dodge those shots. So especially with Echo's nerfs, I just think that Sombra is the new Echo of this meta. I don't think I'm gonna put any other DPS in S tier. However, I am gonna put Echo in A tier because I still think Echo is extremely strong. Like, her kit is still very good if teams want to continue running it. It's just that she's not as overtuned as she was before. I think with a Mercy Pocket, she's still extremely strong, but I think Sombra is just more worth because you can hack the Echo out of the air, and it's just going to be more consistent. Not saying that a good Echo player won't be able to outplay that. It's just not as likely. Another character that I'm also going to put in A tier is McCree. I might move him down later. I think that McCree is still just really strong. Thing is, he's very diveable. So we're actually going to wait for McCree because I'm not 100% sure about him yet. So next, going down the list, I'm gonna say that May and Torb are definitely still B tier because of that fire and ice comp. I think it's actually gonna be really strong against the dive meta. I just don't think it's like the premier strat that you really want to be running. I might make a video way in the future explaining the origins of the comp, explaining how they played it in the past, explaining how it is like now. But it would take way too long for me to explain why these characters are good within the scope of the video. So just let me know if you really want to watch it in the future. I'll consider it. We do have a lot of content planned though, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for that one for quite a bit. Moving on though, other characters that I would deem B tier, probably Soldier. Soldier actually might. You know what I might do, because this is what I was feeling before. I think I actually might switch these two, because Soldier works very well into dive, because he just runs around and takes whatever angles he wants. He's very fast. He's like bam, 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 bam. I think Soldier might actually be pretty decent on maps like Busan. I think Kree's just gonna get overwhelmed a little bit too much, and now that Echo is kind of moving out, all hit scans are diminishing. Not all hit scans, but most of the mid-range to long-range Amy hit scans are diminishing in their value because now dive is even more potent. That's my thought process of why I'm putting Kree below Soldier here. But yeah, moving even more forward to that, we'll actually just go to Reaper here. I think that a lot of the DPS that I'm going to be putting on this list today are going to be kind of situational. Like Reaper, maybe... My thing for putting Reaper C tier, not D tier, is that there is a possibility that we go back to that meta where it was the Sombra Reaper like brawl comp with the Monkey D.Va, and Monkey kind of acts like a Ryan but jumps in the air to avoid damage. We may see that. Like, that could come back. I don't think it's likely. But at the same time, with all the changes that have been happening, maybe that's like a shadow meta that I'm not seeing. So it's definitely something to look out for. I don't think it's gonna come back because I don't feel like a lot of players are thinking about it, but you never know, it could happen. So next thing that I'm going to go into here, other hit scans. Let's think about this. Like I said, hit scans are just not very strong. The problem is that they're not necessarily awful either. Like Hanzo with his new storm arrow, like submachine gun thing, I think it's niche and it's not very strong, but it's not necessarily niche enough where it's like C tier, you're only going to run it on one map. I think that like double sniper on Havana, definitely something that you're going to see a lot of in scrims. It's something that's always going to come up. And Hanzo, I feel like Hanzo has the potential to be a shadow pick where he just kind of comes out of nowhere and frags out. I just don't think it's very likely because dive really exploits these characters and doesn't make them very, very effective. I don't really think I'm going to be putting any other DPS into the B tier. I think the rest of them are just kind of subpar. Like, why run Pharah when you have Echo? Because Echo is still extremely strong. Or when you have like hit scan. I just don't think. I think Pharah needs something better. Not necessarily that she needs to be better, but that other characters that enable her needs to be better. Because right now, I just don't think she's in the best state that she's ever been. And I feel like she's very one-tricky. Like, if there's a team that wants to one-trick Pharah comps, sure, go for it. I don't feel like they're very effective the higher the ranks that you go. Also, Junkrat, very situational. I'd say even more situational than Pharah. Control Center is still going to be very, very good for him, but that's pretty much all you're seeing. Dive, just the thing is that these characters just aren't good into dive. When you have this many characters in one category, it just there's inevitably going to be characters that just aren't as strong. That being said, Bastion. The thing is that Bastion should do well against all these characters. It's just that Sombra hacks. Good teams can get around the Bastion. He just has way too many weaknesses for how many rewards he has. Excuse me. Let's look at Symmetra here. Symmetra is always going to find value. You want to know why? Because TPing out of spawn. That is why I cannot put her any lower than C tier, and I can't put her any higher than B tier because she's just not good right now. Because, well, dive. She's just gonna. She doesn't do well with getting jumped on. She needs time to get ramped up, and that's really what a lot of these characters need. They need a lot of time, and they need to be able to set up angles. While these characters are just. I probably said that wrong. Good thing I'm taking Spanish now. But moving on then, Doomfist. I want to put Doomfist in C tier. I don't think he's gonna be good. I still think he's in a really bad spot because people could just pull out the Echo if you IQ check them with the Doomfist. I like Hackfist as a comp. I just think Doom needs a little bit more in order to really get all that value on a more like general scale. If you're doing one trick and you want to run Hackfist, try it out. Maybe it'll work. I just don't think that if you're not next level Doomfist and you're not the next, I don't know, Chipsa or what's his name, Cybership, I think his name's Booty Blaster on Twitch. I just don't think the Doom is going to be working for a lot of teams here. And then last but not least, I'm going to be putting Genji. Sorry, I'm going to move Doom. No, I'm going to move Doom there. I'm going to put Genji at a solid C tier. I think that you can run the, what is it called? Hackblade? I forget what it's called. Cyber Dive. That's what you call it. The Cyber Dive. The Genji Sombra with dive on like 2 CPs. You can run that and I won't completely scoff at you. He just isn't as good as the S tier characters because he doesn't have as much mobility. Like, he doesn't have as quick of mobility, I should say. He has very good vertical mobility as compared to Tracer, but I think that Tracer just has more mobility overall, which is what really that comp needs to succeed. Is just very fast damage, very fast movement, being able to get in, get out very quickly. And then yeah, last but not least here, guys, we have supports. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it, guys. Yeah, no, I'll explain once I get all the supports on the board. Zenyatta and Brigitte, I am putting still in S tier. I still think Zenyatta is really strong. I could be wrong. I feel like I am wrong. It's just that Zenyatta, when I played him in Pugs, was still hard farming. Like, I did not have any problem with it. And then again, we haven't scrimmed on this patch yet, but when we did do Pugs, I didn't feel like he was losing value. I felt like it was that other characters were making it harder to find value. With that said, you could see Moira Lucio coming back, but at the same time, I still think Mercy's really strong because Echo isn't dead. She just isn't as potent with the Zen Orb. But whether or not that's going to completely shift the meta, I personally don't think so. That being said, I do still want to put Moira and Lucio in B tier because Fire and Ice still utilizes the Lucio very well. Moira not so much. It's more Baptiste, which is why I'm actually going to finish Baptiste in the C tier because Fire and Ice. Moira and Lucio could be the next meta supports with the 6-man dive instead of Zenbrig. My thing is, I don't know if that's true. It's going to take some time, and you're going to see a lot of hot takes on a lot of different things. The Reddit, Twitter, Discords. It really could go either way, but I think that Zenbrig is still pretty strong because survivability hasn't really changed. It's only damage numbers and how fast you can put out your orbs, but in all reality, you should be starting your orb on that ball anyways, and the healing throughout the fight shouldn't really matter because you should be blowing stuff up anyways. But we'll have to see with the future. But yeah, anyways, guys, I appreciate you for watching. If you did like it, please do like it. Please do subscribe. Share it with your friends. Whatever you want to do. If you agree with me, great. Tell me what you agreed about. If you didn't, let me know what you think is actually going to happen in the comments below. Because then, yet again, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm just the weatherman for Overwatch metas. I really don't know what is going to be meta, what isn't going to be meta. I'm just giving you guys my thoughts and opinions. But yeah, guys, until next time, I gotta peace out and paz out. I'll see you in the next one.